start recording.
All right, you ready?
My body is ready.
All right. All right, everybody. Welcome back to our next installment of The Long Rest, Blades and Blasters. And we'll start my recording there. Blades and Blasters, 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons game. I've lost track on what episode or chapter or book or whatever the hell this is. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started here. With us tonight, we have Matt, we have Aki, and we have Arden, played by Wanderer. See?
Yes.
All right, so in this instance, it has been a couple days since you set out north from the hamlet. First day was spent walking through sparse woodlands in the late spring or early summer. You could hear birds of the forest overhead. You had fair weather for the most part. Got a little chilly at night, but good traveling weather. And eventually you broke out of the northern border of the Whisperwood, and you felt that the grade increased ever so slightly further and further you went. Now you are in low foothills. Far in the distance you see looming silver and purple mountains crested with snow, even though it's early summer. And beneath your boots you start to feel the green grass and the moss turn to rock as you get closer and closer to Mount Drachus. I'll let you take it away.
Arden is he's kind of missing some of the comforts of the village he's left behind, but he's also appreciating being out in the wide open again. He's originally from a small village in the middle of nowhere, a kind of almost a tribal sort of encampment, and now that he has his memory back, he remembers spending a lot of time in the open when he was a child, and he's relishing being out in the clean air again and away from some of the distractions of having to think about the council and the decisions that are needed to run a village. And he we're all together, right?
Up to you.
Guys, do you want to be all together or do you want to meet up?
Up to you. Yeah. Presumably, although now that we're in Ukraine, would have met up with Jax'S. He actually would have set out probably a couple of days after you, almost. Catching up pretty quickly, not making as many stops, perhaps, or taking a more direct route. His plans shifted when he realized you were heading up to Mount Drachus. He had considered staying behind and making contact with his old acquaintances up towards the Empire over the mountains, but in the end he decided to keep contact with his spy network through ravens and similar messaging systems. Probably not all that long ago, he met up with you just as you exited the forest, of course ominously breaking from the shadows, explaining the fact he wanted to come along again to see the great and wonderful dragon.
And Arden was grateful to have him along, because he's the only one of us who's actually really spent time with these dragons in dragon form. And Arden will have introduced Jax'S to Mecco, who he met in the forest.
Mecco, she would have been kind of coming down more south than anything. A 7-foot-tall, fairly imposing Goliath definitely sticks out, especially with the grayish-blue skin, this lush forested area, whether it was open or closed air. She mostly wears cloth, doesn't really wear any armor. She does sport quite a few scars on her arms, her chest, her face, but each one she seems very proud of. And most of the time she wears a very kind of idle, almost bit of a dumb smile almost on her face as she goes along, and with her big eyes kind of observing everything as she goes around. She always seems in fairly good spirits as she's heading out, and the first thing she probably said to Arden after kind of looking him up and down is, "Hello there!"
Hello. What brings you out all this way out here? There's no villages around here.
No villages, but decided to travel a bit down south. You know, doing some exploration and such.
Ah. I myself was heading further north. I'm coming from a village a little further south of here. I was heading north to a mountain a little way away from here, where we seek to find allies. It's a tale of a gold dragon up there.
Dragons, you say? That sounds mighty fine. I ain't seen a dragon myself, but if you'd like me to come with you, or I'll just come with you anyway.
Arden gives her sort of an appraising look and says, "Of course, I'll be glad of the company." And then I guess as we get further along and we meet up with Jax'S and we start to go higher, Arden will turn to Mecco and he'll say, I've heard tell that your people are from the mountains. This must be like coming home for you."
Well, we are, but more of a much northern woman. That's where one of my clan is, but got a bit separated from them, so I'm down here.
Oh, really? What happened?
You know, this bit of that bit, getting captured and getting put into some sort of gladiatorial combat. But it's, you know, it was a piece of piss back then, and it's all good now.
What a story.
I know. Want to hear more about it?
I think we'll be fine. After all, we're not that far.
Arden sort of rolls his eyes a little bit with Jax'S usual sarcastic tone and says, don't mind Jax'S. I think we should perhaps save our breath, though. It's quite a long climb. He indicates the slope of the mountain ahead. Jax'S, you were here before with the dragons. I don't know whether you saw their lair, but did you see how... If you did you see how high up it was?
Indeed, yes. Well, seeing as we flew back to you all, it is essentially at the peak. It'll be quite a ways.
Oh, well then, best get going.
Yeah. I hope they're still there. I wouldn't be surprised if they'd moved on by now. Although, you never know with dragons. They tend to pick a good enough spot, but if perhaps they had business elsewhere, who knows how long it'll be before they return.
Well, we can but do our best.
Indeed.
I don't have high hopes for this, but chance of having a dragon as an ally if this army you have spied comes our way. It's something we can't afford to let slip, even though the chance is, I admit, slim.
Well, if we can get them on our side, then I don't think the army will be much of a threat, to be honest.
Are we going to be riding dragons?
I would be quite happy to, but I don't think so.
Arden smiles and said, "Now that would be a fine thing. I doubt it, but any help they can give, even if they cannot aid us themselves, if they could give us advice or point us at potential allies, anything."
Yeah, dragon aids would be great.
Hopefully, if all goes well, my contacts will figure out everything up north.
How long do you think before they get back, Jax'S?
A good while. I mean, they only set out just a while before you did. And, well, I imagine they're probably, if we were to continue across the mountains, several days ahead of us, perhaps. And, well, the marshes are quite a ways.
Ah, I see. Well, we must do our best then.
Yes.
You're feeling a bit short of breath there, Arden. I can give you a carry.
No, I'm fine. Compared to how I was a few weeks ago, I feel very strong. He sort of gives Jax'S a little smile.
You seem to have recovered well.
Yes, fortunately, the effects were quite temporary. And then for Mecco's benefit, he said, we were attacked by shadow creatures who drained my strength. I became as an old man for a while. But it was good to recover. While I may not be as strong as you, at least I'm strong enough to climb a mountain again.
Yes, I wouldn't quite like to think if it had stayed the way it was.
No, that did not really bear thinking about. Still, my strength is not in my arms. But I did not relish being carried about by Elwyn. So I think he enjoyed it.
Oh, yes. Quite a bit.
Yes, he doesn't really take a hint, but there we go. He means well.
Well.
As you continue further and further north, the grade continues to increase. If you've ever done any hiking in the mountains, you'll know that even in the summer you can start your trek down in a lush green valley. And before you know it, it's a little bit cool. You start to feel a cold breeze rolling down from the mountains, and eventually even you start to see here and there small pockets of snow that have not quite thawed on this side of the mountain. In the shadow of boulders and whatnot, you'll find little bits of ice. Who in this party is kind of leading the way, and who would be the best at picking out paths going up into the Alpine region?
Is Mecco any good?
I would say
fine.
survival or nature.
Yeah, Jax'S isn't super knowledgeable.
Arden's got reasonable survival because of his upbringing.
Totally should have used Melik. Oh, man. You would have been up there already.
Whoever's in front, just give me a roll at a DC 10.
Ooh.
Oh. Rolled a 2. That's
Yeah,
not
It's
good.
Jax'S
fine.
wouldn't have been any better.
I thought, oh, it's only DC 10. I've got a +5. This will be easy.
God damn, yeah. I mean, I have a +0, so, I mean...
The roll's setting the tone for the evening.
As you start to get higher and higher, the wind picks up a little bit, and eventually you find yourself maybe taking your cloak and pulling it a little bit tighter around your torso, and what started as a very verdant and warm and pleasant walk quickly turns into a series of backtracks as you constantly think one path is correct and you have to double back as a boulder is blocking the way, or you have to skirt your way kind of across very blank faces of wall and granite. And so I'd like everybody to do a survival at 12.
Uh-oh.
Or nature. Survival or nature at 12.
Well, seeing as my nature is significantly
Hey.
better. Nature.
Not sure.
Oh, lame.
7.
Problem.
Yeah.
So you start to get closer and closer and higher to the top. Mecco and Arden, you make the necessary adjustments. Eventually you do find your way to the top. Not the top, but like, when it starts to get a little bit more rocky, you're getting towards the end of your journey higher up into the mountain. Jax'S, I would give yourself 1 level of exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
So skill checks with disadvantage. And high up the mountain, perhaps another 200 or 300 meters, you see a craggy set of stairs that wind this way and that, but unfortunately these stairs are broken and dilapidated in places. But even higher than that, you see something burning, like 2 guard towers or signal towers that burn with a light that, in contrast to this picture, doesn't even give off any smoke. It's just a light as the clouds overhead kind of turn into boiling, gray, more angry-looking clouds.
I think we need to move. Jax'S isn't looking too good. You look cold, Jax'S. We should find
Don't
shelter.
talk like I'm not here. But yes, not quite comfortable.
Mecco offers a hand, Jax'S. The carrying thing extends to you.
I suppose, if you wish.
And she will immediately kind of grab you and almost like a piggyback style, just put you on her back.
You're probably the first person he's met that's actually taller than him. He's like a good 6'4", 6'5", something like that. So it's like quite surprising for him to have someone that could. As you actually managed to pick him up, he's almost surprised at the ease of it. Well, stronger. I would say stronger than you look, but I don't think that's quite accurate.
No, I think look pretty strong.
Arden looks across at the scene as if trying to commit it to memory. He's got a big grin on his face looking at this.
Smiling about something, Arden?
Not at all. Not at all. I was merely thinking how circumstances can change very fast. Anyway, we should head on.
So we're
Smile vanishes.
going to see your dragon friends, right? It's a bit ominous up here.
Well, they are dragons after all. Although gold. Lucky for us. Were there white dragons up here? I doubt we'd be so easy. Have such an easy time getting up here.
What's that?
Well, you see, white dragons are fairly territorial and expert hunters. Well, compared to some of the others, they are, well, much akin to beasts almost, I'd say. Not that I mind them.
You've met many dragons then, Jax'S?
Oh, no. But, I mean, when you are raised by half-dragons, and when you are a half-dragon, it tends to etch its way into your memory as you are forced to study.
So is it the top or the bottom that's the dragon part?
Well, it's the whole thing, he says with the big, sickly sweet grin.
Mecco is just kind of nods and smiles like she's very much legitimately inquiring.
As they were sort of talking, it presumed that sort of slowed Mecco down a bit. So Arden's probably moved a little bit further ahead, and he'll sort of stop and look back and say, "Are you all right? Jax'S is not light."
No, but he's a bit lighter than me brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
He's like 15.
Well,
It's
it
big.
seems Goliath do grow fast, don't they?
Bit fast. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's a bit of a shiver from Jax'S. Damn it. Speaking of dragons, black dragons aren't exactly happy with the cold. The chill of ocean water is one thing, but frigid, snowy air at the top of a mountain is something else entirely. It's too dry.
Would offer you a blanket, but don't have one.
No, again, dry.
Ow.
Well, not that I would like to be wet, given the cold. Ice would not be any better off, would it?
No. Mecco just adjusts Jax'S as she continues up, trying to catch up to Arden, and make her way up this mountain with Jax'S on her back.
As you do that, you kind of fall onto this stairway. It's frozen and it's cracked in many places, but even at this height, every once in a while you see a small, tiny white flower. It's called an ice flower that kind of grows from the cracks. And as you get higher up the steps, unfortunately, towards the top, there's an area that's completely crumbled away. Looking kind of around the bend, though, you hear and see running water. There's a waterfall this high up. It's not frozen, perhaps heated from some source up higher
Yeah,
in the
looks.
stones. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Jax'S looks to the water. Well, perhaps it's not so bad. He kind of, if you wouldn't mind, he kind of waits for you to loosen up as he kind of hops back down with a bit of a thud. His weight is by no means light, as Arden mentioned, as he kind of walks over, still shaking a bit, as he dips a hand down into the water, checking it. Is it fairly icy, or does it seem almost like spring, even?
It's pretty icy still.
Not the best, but it's not entirely frozen.
Mecco looks from Jax'S to Arden. So, we keep going up? Is that it?
I think so. We should try and get out of the cold as quickly as we can.
Right.
It does look like where this water cascades from. There's like a little dell you could dip into. The only problem is you have to cross a very narrow ledge of broken stairs to get there.
Well, I think this is the way to take. If we can find the source of the water at least, and perhaps the source isn't as cold as out here. The wind will chill it quite quickly. And if so, we can warm up.
That makes sense. And Martin nods and starts heading in that direction.
Yeah, and Jax'S goes to move before he turns and dips down, sticking his maw into the water and taking a couple of gulps of the crisp, clean water. A stark contrast to Paquin's run as he heads up to follow after.
Arden, you're going first. Tell me what it looks like, and I'm going to have you make either an athletics or a strength check as you inch your way over this cliff. It's only about as wide as half of your boot, so kind of your forefoot is kind of stuck out into space as you kind of press your back against the wall, or I guess you could go belly first and kind of shimmy along the wall, trying to desperately grasp to any crags you can find and some frozen roots that stick out.
Yeah, I think Arden will probably go belly to the wall just so he can try and use his hands to steady himself. He'll turn his feet sideways so there's as much of his foot on the ledge as possible and just take it slowly. Every step he'll just test and then shift his weight, test, then shift his weight. And he'll be trying to get his weight on his legs as much as possible, not rely on his arm strength, so that if he ever has to grab at any point, his arms will be fresher. And he's going to be very cautious and plan his path out and work like that.
Here we go. DC is going to be 14.
Okay. It's not full. Is it going to be athletics or strength?
Athletics. As you're halfway across, the route that you're on gives way. Reflex save at 10.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Dex save.
No,
Just
no.
a couple more ones.
And what looks like as you start to slide down, you reach up, you grab onto the root.
And Arden would sort of let out a sort of startled, not a loud yell, but a startled small yell as he starts to fall, and just sort of, and grabs hold of this root and tries to steady himself.
Jax'S is watching, not quite crossing yet. Try not to fall to your death, Arden. It would be quite a downer on the trip.
Especially for me, yes.
Indeed, quite far down. He kind of looks down towards the huge cliff face.
Arden follows his gaze and then immediately regrets it and just sort of closes his eyes for a second and then deep breath and focuses back on the wall ahead of him. You hear him muttering to himself, one step at a time, one step at a time.
You finally make it to the other side and give yourself 1 level of exhaustion.
Okay.
Jax'S is next up, and he starts inching his belly or back to the ice. He's buffeted by the kind of Arctic winds that are rolling down from the mountain, pelting him with small bits of snow and ice.
Alright. Another athletics.
Mhm. There's not a climb skill, is there? Indeed, yeah.
No, it falls under athletics.
Yep.
Yeah, athletics is all running, climbing, or swimming.
Right, so what was that again? Needed?
Jax'S needs to do
Oh, Jackson.
14.
Alrighty. And did you say I had disadvantage from exhaustion?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Skills.
Okay. It's 5, so I fails either way.
So same thing, reflex.
Alrighty.
And the DC
Save.
for that was 12, I think is what I said, right?
I think so. Hey.
So
Hey.
you get stuck at the same place. Like you're reaching on these roots. You didn't learn, apparently. The roots kind of... You drastically claw into some stone right before you tumble down into a chasm.
Yeah.
And claw your way back to safety and make it across. But give yourself another level of exhaustion. You're at 2 now.
Oof.
Ooh, Jax'S, you're right.
Yes, well... Thank my grandmother for the claws, I suppose. You see him digging them very deep into the stone now as they kind of etch their way in almost. As he very carefully makes his way across.
As he gets to the end, Arden will hold a hand out and sort of pull him the last little bit of the way, and with a sort of a warm smile to take some of the sting out of it, he says, Jax'S, you give excellent advice. You really should listen to it.
Oh, I know. It would be quite useful.
So Arden looks back at Mecco and says, "Okay, Mecco, take it easy. It's very narrow."
Yeah, I'm used to these sort of things.
Yes, well, I don't want to have to jump down and save you, so...
I'll be fine.
Arden says quietly to Jax'S, she has very big feet. I hope she's okay.
Yes, I know. She has a lot of big other things, too. I don't know how they're going to fit across the actual ledge.
Mecco, she's being Goliath fairly used to even these kind of elevations, these heights, these narrow passages. So she's stepping carefully, but she at least thinks it's been a while that she's traveled up kind of in mountains like this, but she's going to use some of the tricks her grandmother used to teach her about traveling over skinny short passages when you are a very large and wide person. And athletics? Yeah.
Fucking shit.
So
That looks like.
So Mecco, she does travel. It's actually her back against the
my
kind of
God.
icy wall, and even though her feet are like hanging over the edge of this staircase, she's kind of leaning back mostly onto her heels as she does so, and she kind of clings, and actually her fingers and hands kind of go inside the kind of icy wall itself. You can see kind of chunks that are like left out as she's dug her hands in. And she makes her way over, stepping clearly over the route that had made both of your travels so dangerous. And she looks to the both of you with a smile on her face. Yep, I guess seeing both of you nearly fall down because of the route, at least I made it alright.
Oh, that's good. Yes.
Yes.
And Jax'S kind of turns his pack over his shoulder and kind of reaches in and goes to grab a spare water skin. As he reaches in there, there's this foul expression on his face of just almost like fury, basically, as you see him kind of pull out several pythons as he just realizes that there was that he has all of the kit he would have needed to do that safely. As he just shoves it back in without bothering with the water skin. Let's go.
What there, Jax'S? Look a bit disappointed. Mate.
Well, I think Arden is right. Advice is best followed if given.
Arden says to Mecco, that was very impressive. And then he looks like he's going to say something to Jax'S, and then he sees the expression on Jax'S face and then just decides not to. Says, right,
Yeah,
we
it's-
should head into the cave.
As you kind of look at him and go to turn, there's this sudden, almost eerie again, the way he just seems to have that timing as his eyes catch yours. I know. Next time I'll have to remember what equipment I've brought with me. It's not every day I go mountain climb. Yet somehow I managed to have the intuition to bring the things with me for it.
Well, you could always go mountain climbing more often. Then you could use it. Yeah?
Yes, well, I'd be quite happy not to, though.
It'll at least be
I'll stick
useful
to the
on way down.
swamps.
Well, we'll save them for the way down, and for now we should head in. Looks like this entranceway is out of the cold, at least.
It
Or at
is.
least the wind.
Yeah, so after you kind of get across the ledge, basically what you see matches the picture here. To your left, there's this cascading waterfall coming down, and it has run in kind of streams and rivulets all the way down from the top of the mountain. You can see the water splashing down the cold stone, and it goes beneath a bridge. Across that bridge, you see the yawning mouth of, you would like to say cave, because the inside of it seems pitch black, but the outside of it is finely carved with some ornate stonework. No language or words that you can see, but it's obviously extremely ancient. And Jax'S-Arden, you can sense flowing out of this cave, not malevolence, not goodness, but just a strong magical presence.
Interesting.
You feel it too.
Yes. I think, and there's again that terrible smile on his face as he says it. I think there might be something of interest in there. Perhaps even for Our Lady.
Mecco, she's kind of touching the stone walls. And she looks back to the both of you. Yes, nice stonework here.
You notice that suddenly Arden's just looking a little pale and uncomfortable. It's not clear why.
You're right
Yes.
there. Bit paler than normal.
Oh, sorry. He seemed to be lost in thought for a moment, and then he says, no, it's nothing. And he sort of almost subconsciously takes half step away from Draxus and then starts heading in towards the cave.
There's a bit of a giggle almost from Jax'S as he follows after. You don't need to be so worried. Although I was serious, try not to go mad. It's quite inconvenient.
I think I can manage. Thank you, Jaxus.
Mecco looks to Jax'S and she, that idle smile is not really there. Looks at him hard. You're kind of rude, mate.
I suppose. Well, we all have our ways. Force of habit, I suppose.
Habits can change. If you changed.
He kind of actually turns to you as you say that, not quite taking a step anymore, and he seems to almost consider you for a moment and consider your statement as he kind of then turns back to the caves with a very serious look. Perhaps. We'll see. No one changes without good motivation or a good mentor, he says as the kind of smile returns as he delves in after Arden.
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah,
No, you go ahead.
Mecco just shakes her head at that and follows the other two in.
As you enter the cave, the cold and the wind certainly dies down. For the first several paces in, you can hear the splashes and the echo of the waterfall outside. If you turn, looking out towards the entrance, the sunlight, it's just past noon, is streaming in, and you can see the mist from the waterfall just cast off a brilliant prism of multicolored spectrum of light. It's a quite beautiful scene, actually. As you get further and further in, it gets darker and darker, and the magical presence continues to increase. Eventually, you cannot hear the wind, you cannot hear the low rumble of the waterfall. Are you going to continue, rest?
Yeah, Jax'S kind of stops for a moment in the shadows, watching deeper in. His eyes, he seems unfazed by the darkness within this place. As he kind of turns to each of you easily. I think perhaps this would be a suitable place to rest. You would notice he is going very slowly. He's taking a lot longer to get half as far as you guys are. He definitely seems exhausted, obviously, but cold. There's a bit of a shake to him as he... You've seen him do this several times on the way up, as he casts Prestidigitation to warm himself, but it doesn't do quite enough to cleanse the cold with as bitter as it's been. Perhaps a fire would be suitable.
I think so. And that will give some light, but in the meantime, and Arden mutters a few words, and you can see he's picked up a pebble from the ground, and he casts a spell, and the pebble begins to glow with a sort of pale but steady radiance, and he puts that on the ground. Says, I'll go outside and see if I can find any firewood.
Be careful.
I'll try not to plunge to my death.
Perhaps I should go with.
No, you should stay here. Get some rest.
Need me to come with you?
As you please. It would go faster with two.
Sure.
Well, while you do that, I will set up, I suppose. You see him pull several candles from his pack, and with a wave of his hand, he sets one down, and the bottom of it warms enough to stick to the ground there, and it flashes a light as he goes to follow after you to set a trail of them so that you'll be able to see your way through a bit easier.
Thank you.
Yes, well, I am helpful here and there, I suppose.
You are a great asset, and always been grateful for your aid, Jax'S.
He has a half smile at that. Well, I'll set a line as well in case anything tries to come out. Don't be long. And as you two head out, he then you can see him across two stalagmites. He sets a string across them, basically with a bell in the middle that'll kind of set off if anything trips it.
Okay, so Arden and Mecco will head outside. Might be tricky at this altitude to find any wood to burn, but we'll try.
Yeah, there's not a lot of wood in the typical sense, but there are like the old roots. A lot of them are kind of dried, almost they look like driftwood, kind of coming from the stones and that sort of thing. You could hew those with your axe and use those for fuel if you would like. Inside Jax'S, the flames leap up and begin to warm your body. You can feel the chill starting to leave your bones as you are invigorated. Strangely, the smoke emanates from the fire, and it doesn't build up in the cave. It doesn't waft to the outside. It just seems to go into nothingness. And the campfire is one of the coziest things you've ever experienced in your life, especially after nearly falling to your death.
Quite good. Yeah, Jax'S is very pleased with everything, how it's gone.
Please give yourself inspiration.
Yay! Inspiration. Nice.
And the scene moves out to Arden and Mecco.
Yeah, so as Mecco sort of chops the wood, Arden will be picking it up and kind of gathering an armful. Oh, I'm glad you came, Mecco. I would not have been able to extract that as easily as you have.
Of course. I'm kind of on a bit of a exploration bit right now. That's why I'm down here in the first place. So it's nice to meet someone friendly after a while. Everyone else has been not the nicest.
I know what you mean. We've found more enemies than allies as we've scouted the lands around here. Still, there are friendly folk around. So, how long have you been travelling?
I don't know. Actually travelling probably a year and a bit, maybe. Before that, like I said, was in this gladiatorial combat thing, this chamber.
How did you escape?
Well, after I fought the Grand Champion, I mean, I would be the Grand Champion there, but Fortunately, everyone's a little bit dead, so I kind of climbed the side of the ring, and I grabbed one of the judge's heads, and I tossed him off, and he kind of died on impact, I think. Felt a bit bad, but that didn't really have a weapon. But the rest did, and they fell pretty quickly.
Fought your way out through all your captors. And again, seeing how strong you are, if you're if you're half as good with that axe as you are at climbing, or at half as good at hewing heads as you are at hewing roots with it, then it's not surprising that you were able to fight your way out.
Well, I only attack what I really need to attack. I'm not the biggest fan of violence, anything of the sort. If I can get it sorted with, I don't know, some sort of kindness or, agreements and such, then I find that better.
I very much agree. I'm glad to hear you do not espouse violence when it no doubt comes so easily to one of your strength and stature. I think we could use someone like you in our village. When all this is over, you should come and visit and see what you think.
Oh, I think I'd like that. It'd be nice to meet some other people, get some cultural experience, and bring it back eventually up north.
I would love to see you arm wrestle Targus. He's a minotaur in the village.
Oh, that'd be fancy.
I think that would be interesting. Chuckles. Anyway, we should be getting back. I think we've got enough firewood now.
Well, I do have to ask, what's up with that Jax'S fella? He's got a bad vibe about him.
Arden was kind of smiling and looking fairly relaxed, and he just tenses a little bit. So Jax'S is complicated. He has fought and bled on behalf of the village and worked very hard to bring us peace and prosperity. But he's not always the easiest. His manner can be difficult, and sometimes he does unsettling things.
Like what exactly?
I think perhaps another time, but yeah, I think his heart's in the right place. It sounds like he's almost trying to convince himself.
Mecco looks kind of a bit thoughtful as they head back. It's having your heart in the right place, but there's also the actions of it. Just because you believe something, you do things towards that goal, whether it be good or not. It's really the actions that you take that dictate whether it is good or not.
That's true, and Jax'S has done a lot of good for a lot of people. I think really his actions have been on behalf of the village and have helped us all. It's his manner that is unsettling, and perhaps the occasional action.
Yeah, I ain't seen him do anything bad myself, so I'm not gonna judge him off of just feelings that I have.
Yeah, don't. I think that is wise. Don't leap to conclusions with Jax'S. He takes some getting to know.
Yeah, I'll be the judge of that later, I guess. As time goes on.
And they get back to the cave and see the trail of candles, and Arden seems a little bit uncomfortable around them. Just seems to kind of skirt them a little bit more than he needs to. And he walks down to where Jax'S is sitting and says, "I left my light spell, Jax'S. Did you need the candles?"
Well, they're comforting, I suppose. The scent of smoke is relieving, in a way.
Arden
Reminds me of incense.
nods, but he looks like he finds them anything but relaxing.
He kind of gives you a look. Do they disturb you?
No. They, why would candles disturb me? They're just candles.
You don't need to lie in front of me, Arden.
They're a bit romantic.
I suppose, in a sense.
Arden sort of looks puzzled at the thought of that, and then it looks like he's kind of reviewing something in his head and seeing it in a whole new light, and he goes very quiet.
Think of it like this, Arden. There's always light in the darkness.
At those words, Arden actually seems to sort of, he'd been getting more and more creeped out, but at those words, he actually gives Jax'S quite a sort of penetrating look and says, Jax'S, that's what we should all try and be, a light in the darkness. And he goes over to his light pebble and picks it up and just looks at it for a second. And then puts it down again. We should make a fire. Get some good, wholesome flame.
Yes,
You
the
can have some
candles
of
are
that
something,
right.
but
You can have some
fire
of that.
would be... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
It's
You go.
fine. A proper fire would be quite comfortable, yes. But
Yes, it would give you some of that relaxing smoke you enjoy.
indeed.
We should check the ventilation this area. I don't want to die from smoke inhalation.
It's fine. The passage is large enough, and although the wind doesn't quite carry here, I think it'll be all right. He kind of settles there as everything gets set up. As once you have the wood kind of piled up, he tosses a small bit of moss he's gathered from nearby, and with another swish of his hand, it goes alight, setting the wood up. He smiles again as he sits down near the flames, quite close. You have a point about the whole being a light in the darkness thing, Arden. But there's something more important than that I think you don't quite understand yet.
Really?
Well, he sighs a bit, kind of looks to you. A light can only bring so much, light and warmth. And the puzzling thing about light, Arden, is the more there is around, the harder it is to pick out. And without darkness, there is no light in turn.
An interesting thought.
Yes, I suppose. Besides, have you ever been in one of the larger cities, like the Empire's capital?
No, but I would like to see it someday.
Well, they have sorcerers and wizards aplenty. Magical stones are imbued with lights that are similar to yours every night. It's quite blinding. Do you know what happens with that much light
No.
flooding the area? Well, you cannot see the stars. Kind of motions towards the roof of the cavern, as you kind of notice that with the even with the dim light of all the torches and everything, there is this faint glow. It's only barely visible from lichen atop the roof of the cavern. Well,
There is beauty in everything, I think.
indeed. The light is always brightest when it's surrounded by darkness. So, although it may be wise, in a sense, to have plenty of light about, without someone to bring shadow, he says with that terrible grin on his face again, well, it wouldn't come of much, would it?
Mecco, she's been listening to what Jax'S is saying and listening hard, trying to... Because some of it kind of started going over her head, this metaphor being long and winding, but it seems to click a bit, and she looks to Jax'S. I
think that all of us should really strive for, well, being that light in the darkness. And just even saying that, if there's darkness around and that the light shines brighter, it's really just a justification for the darkness.
I suppose. But you never know. Sometimes darkness is necessary.
There's enough darkness in the world, Jexif. If you've really looked around, if you've really seen, as you can see up there, there's plenty of darkness surrounding us. But here, she points down to the fire. This is what we've created. This is the light that we have. We're surrounded by darkness, and attempting to justify it and say that someone or something needs to be it, I think it's just wrong in a way. And like I said, there's enough around. Don't have to add to it.
Jax'S, again, seems to earnestly actually listen to what you say. He looks you over with a very curious gaze. I suppose there's truth in this too. And he smiles again, this time almost heartfelt looking, as he looks to Arden. I suppose I am terrible at following my own advice, aren't I?
Arden smiles, and it was kind of noticeable as Jax'S was speaking that when Jax'S starts, sort of weaving a metaphor and being persuasive and twisting words, it's almost like he kind of gets Arden under a little bit of a spell. It's almost like he sort of taps into something within Arden and kind of leads him along with his argument. But when Mecco spoke, it was almost like that sort of, not literal spell, but that sort of verbal, rhetorical spell was broken. And Arden looks her over with sort of renewed respect and says, you have a way of cutting to the heart of things, Mecco. You see clearly.
I don't need glasses, so vision's pretty good. Yeah.
Yes. And Jax'S kind of has his claws as he taps them along his chin. Yes, well, you might be quite useful back at town.
I've already been invited. I mean, I'm not going to say no to a second invite.
Good then. I'll be quite honest. There's very few who looks you over again and then smiles, this time truly heartfelt. Few who are willing to speak properly with me. Too many hold their tongue or speak, well, courteously, I suppose, in a sense. Fearfully, even. He glances towards Arden. Or they are brazen fools who cannot shut their mouths. So, someone who is quite straightforward and not, well, any of the above. It's refreshing, to be honest.
Arden looks across at Mecco and he's got a slight hint of a mischievous grin, just playing slightly at the corner of his mouth. And he says, you should be honoured, Mecco. It's not often that Jax'S takes argument and disagreement so well. You've earned some measure of respect from him, and that is not easy. Is it, Jax'S?
It is not. At all. But there's a difference between sensibility and volatility and foolishness. I think this is something altogether different. That is something I can respect.
Well, I thank you for the high priestess, I guess, as you say, Arden. But I just find cutting to the art of it, not beating around any bushes or, I guess, rocks. In this case, she gestures around, is a lot easier. I mean, if you keep beating around bushes or getting needed things, and all it's going to be is just chaotic emotions and not, getting to the root of it all. Why someone really believes something that they do, having actual meaningful discussions and actually listening to one another. It's a lot easier, I find. Less arguments. Well, less fighting arguments, I find.
My. Yes, definitely something I'm unused to.
I'll fight you if you want, but I really don't want to.
I don't think it's necessary. I don't fight fair.
That's not fun.
Arden chuckles a little bit too much at that.
No. But it is useful. Again, the whole darkness thing.
When we return
Besides,
to the
go ahead.
this is when we return to the village, Mecco. I think we should introduce you to a friend of ours, a holy warrior by the name of Terek. He and Jax'S have some very interesting discussions, and I would
Really?
love it for you to be there when they do.
It would be interesting. I'm quite curious how he would deal with you.
Well, hopefully, well, I guess.
I suppose. And he again seems in thought. Perhaps you are something that has been needed.
Am I?
Yes.
Not gonna argue, but guess it's the honesty, as you say.
I suppose. Though perhaps the honesty isn't quite it. If it were, I would not have quite the problem I do with Terek.
Yes, Terek is very honest with you.
Yes.
And Arden turns to Mecco and says, I should explain that there is some history of Terek and Jax'S arguing. Jax'S is very persuasive and believes in shades of grey, and Terek is strong and forthright and believes in black and white.
He is zealous, is what he is. And blind to anything else.
And Arden sort of like holds his hand out, sort of kind of palm up, kind of like gesturing in Jax's direction, and says, and I think you maybe see a little of what happens when they meet.
You're not wrong.
I don't quite believe in the shades of grey, but I'm not a hard black and white kind of person. More of a shades of blue, more than anything.
I suppose. But he motions to himself. If anything, I'm shades of black, so...
Yeah,
Although there is a bit of grey coming in.
You old?
Well, not
Makes-
by any of your means.
Makes sense why I could
Besides-
carry you.
Well, if I were old, it would be more... Well, what's the colour? Not ochre, it's... not lavender.
What?
Not quite royal, it's a bit deeper than that.
Royal? Is it like a king?
No, a kind of purple.
Oh.
I'm not sure of the shade. Black dragons tend to discolor as they age in a unique way.
Well, as I was mentioning, I'm on the side of, as long as everyone's getting along and obeying whatever laws are in place, as long as they're fair, not skewed to anyone or any group in particular.
Well,
I
that's
think it's fine.
exactly the problem. There's a bit of venom on his tongue as he says that.
I think this is the kind of thing that many of the arguments have been about.
Laws.
We formed a ruling council for the village, and everyone wishes to govern as they see best. But when two of the councillors were Terrik and Jax'S, opinions as to what was best for the village diverged quite dramatically. And Jax'S is no longer sitting with us on the council.
Are you standing
Indeed.
then?
My place was not there. As mentioned, someone operates in darkness, and that person is myself. The council is far too bright for me.
Well, you should maybe try stepping into the light a bit there, Jexif.
Well, it's not quite as easy.
Well, it might not be easy because you don't see it as easy. If you've been stepping in shadow most of your life, light's a bit scary, eh?
Kind of scowls a bit. I suppose you're not wrong.
Not going to
When
throw
you
you
were
on. And Mecco stops and looks to Arden.
So I was merely going to say that when you step from a dark cave into daylight, it can be dazzling and uncomfortable at first.
I think maybe this Derek fella, if you've been stepping in cave shadows all your life for a long time, if he's trying to chuck you on the fire the first time he sees you, it's gonna be a bit painful. Instead of just letting it, creep up slowly. I still don't suggest going in a fire that hurts.
Well, I don't quite care for fire myself, being in it or not. It is the naivety. That is what irritates me so. The blindness of the light. That is something I hate.
I think if we still going into metaphors and similes and all that language nonsense and such, if you're staring at the fire, right, and you're only looking to it, then whatever's around in the darkness is gonna creep up behind you. But if you're in the light and you are able to, swivel your head, look back, and you're able to see more,
Well, you see, that is exactly the issue at hand. He smiles. I see perfectly well in the dark.
The way I see it, Jax'S, Arden says, he looks like he's trying to pick his words carefully. The way I see it, I think your strength is subtlety and discernment, and Terrik's is righteousness and swift judgment. I think you two are in many ways opposites. Not complete opposites, but your strengths are very different. And just because you are so different doesn't mean that someone who stands in the light cannot have discernment and subtlety. And I think someone who has discernment and subtlety can be righteous and upstanding.
And Jax'S kind of mulls this, almost visibly, as he kind of taps his claw along his chin, thinking again, perhaps I left the council too quickly, but I do not think I need to rejoin it.
Are we done with the light and darkness metaphor? It's a bit
Yes, to be
painful
quite
brain.
frank,
Thank you.
I can be. Yes. Terrik is zealot, as I mentioned, outright. I would not be surprised if he looks you over. Your kin, what are they like? Raiders? Or do they live off of the forest and the ice itself?
Not raiders. No, we live in our tribes up in the north. We grow and we forage, we trade. We're not savages or anything of the sort. We're not coming down and stealing away children, if that's what you're saying. We're not going to be raiding
No.
villages.
Nonsense, a fool would... depends on the child, I suppose, but...
We're not into children. Jesus, that's weird.
Well, not that way.
What way?
Well, if you say you have a child, yes, and
I
they are
don't, but okay.
abandoned. Well, you know what I mean. A child in a village, for example, abandoned. No one to care for it. That child needs something, someone. There's plenty of opportunity to be that person. It's a useful investment for both of you.
Well, children not really investments. Well, I guess for the future, but it takes a village to raise a child.
I suppose. But the child has to be given a chance to grow first. Tarek would quite happily, based on his wanton assessment, cleave the head from the child, just in case.
Isn't it murdering children? She looks to Arden.
Arden gives her a little sort of silent shake of the head. No.
Well, Arden, tell me then, if Tarek wandered into a cavern and came across orcs, hobgoblins, bugbears, or anything else of the sort, and found children, what do you think he would do?
Now that is an interesting question.
I do not
Yes,
think it is interesting in the least. I
I
think
do.
it's pathetic.
Why don't
The
you
fact we
ask
have
him
to ask him.
instead of hypothesizing about what we would do? Just ask him. I mean, you could form any opinions you want if you just have an idea of what he's going to do, right?
I suppose.
It's how hatred's created. If you don't actually ask him what his opinion is, right?
Well, I have before and have received unsavory answers. He has his stance and I have mine.
Well, Mecco seems to think, trying to think of some sort of metaphor, but just shakes her head. I'm not sure if I can think of any more phrases or wise bits of words. Got nothing.
That's fair. I apologize. I did say I would speak straight. Derek is not one to put up with anything other than humans. He barely puts up with me.
Racist.
Although, I suppose, in a sense, yes.
I think that is a little strong. It's not about whether you're human or not. It's about whether you're a race where he has experienced them to be largely evil. Largely or almost exclusively evil.
Yes,
But I
and
must admit, I thought there was no such thing as a goblin whose life I would care to preserve. But having met Melik in the forest, I've come to start changing my mind.
Jax'S looks half surprised at the mention. Well, I suppose the thing did put up a suitable use over the winter.
It's not about how much use. It's he put his life on the line for others with no thought of reward. But yes, I think that is what motivates Tarek. Not that goblins or hobgoblins or orcs are different, but that they are largely or almost universally aggressive and violent and seek to harm others who have not harmed them.
I suppose that assessment would normally be acceptable. My issue is with the fact that even in the light of proper negotiation, he is, well, how to put it? Volatile, to say the least. Bigoted, stubborn and bullheaded. I could go on.
I would not use the word bigoted. I think perhaps quick to judgment and stubborn, yes, and certainly volatile. But as I recall, both of you were.
Yes, indeed. But, as you mentioned, you found the one example of a goblin that might not be an accursed little cretin. And what did he do, Arden? Oh, that's right. He mentioned quite specifically that if he saw it again, he would cleave its head from its shoulders.
I believe that was a very unfortunate misunderstanding.
Seeing as
The
this
whole
was
thing,
just
from what
several
I
days
hear,
ago.
the whole thing, as I hear it, went quite badly. But I'm a little uncomfortable judging Terrick in his absence. He is a friend, and I feel like I'm speaking ill of him behind his back, which makes me a little uncomfortable.
That's because you are. I certainly am, at least.
I
But you have a point.
don't think
He kind of looks to the candles as they've melted down a fair ways. I think it has been long enough. Perhaps we should get on.
Do you feel rested?
He gives a nod. Warm enough, at the very least. My scales are not quite so... Well, they're still plenty hard, but they're not rigid in the wrong kind of ways anymore. He stands and stretches.
Ah, yes, rigid scales, very, very big.
She looks to Arden to make sure that's correct.
Yes. I mean, when they're rigid in the wrong kind of way.
What's the right
Yes.
way?
Well, you want them to flex when they need... It's like a sword, if we're getting straight to the point as you
Oh,
usually
not
do.
metaphors.
No.
It's not a metaphor, it's quite
Simile.
simple. You want your sword to bend or it will break, right? It's exactly the same.
Mecco gets
like
up and
wearing-
she scoffs. Ah! Enough of these words. Well, words are fine. Just not similes, metaphors, and shit. Too much.
Fine. Yeah, and Jax'S, you see, he kind of takes a few steps, waves a hand, and starts picking up the candles as they all snuff at once, and he drips the hot wax into a small little vial almost. It's like, except it doesn't really have a lip quite. It's just like straight so that he would be able to essentially melt the wax again with the candle and pour it back out if need be, not wasting any. As he then tosses them back in his pack and gets ready to go.
And you do indeed get ready to go. And as you rise, you feel quite refreshed. The cold has seeped away from you, and you journey into the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
See how this looks, but you continue further and further into the cave. Eventually, or initially at least, you sense these ancient stone walls on either side of you. You sense a hard floor below and a mossy ceiling above. But eventually, the darkness is just that. You can't see, even you, Jax'S, for some reason, you can't see an inch in front of your face. You're making
Hmm,
you're making
Arden will
small.
try his light. Arden will try his light spell again.
interesting. Yeah, so it's like beyond magical darkness, essentially. Yeah.
Try your art. Do your light spell, and something magical will happen.
Okay.
Probably magic.
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 Magic. Okay.
What's that?
It's magic.
No.
Yeah, it's just a cantrip. You can just.
Yeah. Yeah. So you hold up a little thing of light almost. And it's almost as if that light in your hand, Arden, splinters into a dozen points of light. Each one of those splits into 2 more points of light, 144, then exponentially off. And before you know it, it's almost as if you're walking among the stars. You look down at the floor, you feel like there's something rigid there, but there are only points of light all around you. Looking up into the heavens, the constellations are kind of just whirling around as you get this overwhelming sense of awe. And at first kind of a deep peace, but then eventually the reality of what's going on sets in, and you may begin to get a little nervous.
Yeah, Jax'S looks almost confused. Mutters something about the void, blah blah blah, as the light kind of speckles about. But nonetheless is kind of at the ready in surprise.
Arden turns his head towards Jax'S and said, "Is this her doing then?"
I do not think so.
Me? No.
Ah, sorry. No, a
It's not important.
powerful friend of Jax's's.
Oh.
This is strange. The only time I have ever seen anything quite like that, like this, was... He kind of has a almost foul look across his face. Well, gazing into the void itself.
Yeah.
But this is different.
Yeah, it's more.
You feel yourself just falling downwards to a point of light, and you get that sensation of your stomach just like leaving your body, and eventually you find yourself somewhere else. You find yourselves floating above the earth, but below the firmament. Your vision is obscured by clouds that float by, but from time to time, through the misty haze, you can see a brilliant blue ocean. You can see a land filled with majestic mountains that are blue and silver. You see lush and green forests that stretch out as far as you can see. And from the west, you see, approaching a continent, you see great ships with many masts and sails that are as white as the clouds. And somehow you understand what's going on as you've been thrown through time and space. These are the first humans to come to this continent, the Dawn Treaders, they're called. And many thousands of years ago, legend has it, they came across the sea. Their ships settled on the west coast of the continent. They sailed into the bays and up the rivers, settling the land near the lake that is now called Sophia. The woods and hills of the fields were bountiful, and those men and women brought with them magics and technologies from far away. All on the continent then prospered. I'll give you a moment to react as you're just kind of hanging godlike over the world in its infantile state.
Jax'S is utterly taken aback as he gazes over all before the revelation of what it is, what is going on, kind of dawns on him, and he is even more so.
Arden is, as they fell, he started to pray to his goddess for deliverance, and if they couldn't be delivered, she would at least take his soul. But that prayer just sort of tails off at the end. He's not really aware that he didn't finish it. He just tails off into silence, and then you just get a sort of whispered, "What? How?" And then nothing more.
Mecco is fairly confused at all this. The sudden falling feeling of stomach and raising, almost leaving, being in her throat. Now kind of hovering and looking over these ships venturing to the continent, the start of this colonization. She looks down with wide eyes, and that big smile comes across her face.
This is pretty fancy magics, eh?
Jax'S nod. Yes. I do not know. Well, I'm not sure who has done this,
Not
but
you?
not me.
This is far beyond the likes of Jax'S and I, Mecco. This
And I do
great
not know
power
the
and
Bazaar looks.
Hopefully we don't get stuck here.
To show such a detestable thing. And he, as he says that, you can see him look at the ships as they come towards the shores with a very, very clear sense of disdain.
And as you look upon the ocean and the ships and the high mountains and the lush forests and the rolling clouds, it's almost as if hundreds and hundreds of years flash before your eyes. You can see the level of the ocean rise and fall. You can see the forests depleted and grow back again. You can see the courses of rivers change shape. You can see lakes dry up. You can see new ones being made. Here and there, you can see roads being built. So the scene changes again. For over the first many years on the continent, the Dawn Treaders spread throughout the land. They lived among the other races, trading and learning from them. Great towers and castles were built, and then violence did erupt. When it did erupt, the wise kings of old put an end to it swiftly, and with mercy and compassion. For in those days, the old kingdom paid homage and communed with the spirit of an ancient dragon that legend says was, and is, tied to the land and its fate. And so civilization flourished. And now you're witnessing kind of the height of the kingdom and the beginning of the empire as great castles are built and cities and towns and trade flourishes. And most people, at least on this continent, are bountiful.
Jax'S watches over it all. His stance is almost conceited as he watches it grow, and the towers rise up as if from nothing, and the castles swell as they are expanded. Well, at least they had the wisdom to take advice from a proper dragon.
Arden doesn't seem to have noticed what Jax'S has said, and certainly doesn't notice his reaction. He's just staring down all this and having real trouble taking it in, but he's got some sense of what's going on. And again, he's just speaking quietly to himself. You hear him say, "So beautiful, so peaceful."
Mecco stares down as well. She hasn't really seen buildings like this before, hasn't seen towns at all. She's mostly just amazed with the architecture.
How'd they get materials to make such high buildings?
It's almost like
A constructed mountain with pointy bits and windows. Impressive.
And the same thing happens as you were flown back into the sky. You see mountain ranges crumble. You see borders come and go. And you see the old castles start to crumble. But as the kingdom turned into an empire, it grew ever larger. Its people's appetite was not sated with the green hills and rivers of the land. The mountains were not enough. They wished for hoarded gold and power unending. And thus they grew proud. In the last 1,000 years of the empire, wars split the land. Towards the end, a great battle was fought on what was then known as the Fields of Thum. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers of all kinds and all races were arrayed on the field that day. Beneath the shadow of the pyramids of the Celestials, they fought, and eventually, a rival king fought his way towards Lake Sophia in an effort to take the castle on that island called Sophia's Rest. And you hang over this battlefield like these giant pyramids there, and it's just a field, and it's just mayhem and murder. There are orcs, goblins, men, all races, and it's just slaughter.
Jax'S watches over the display with this sense of knowing, this sense of understanding, and again, this faint sense of disdain as he watches the slaughter.
Arden is kind of transfixed by this scene. It looks like he wants to look away from all this death and destruction and the crumbling of and the ruin of what was once something great. And a couple of times his mouth opens, but nothing really comes out, and you see a single tear roll down his cheek.
Mecco observes this. There's a frown on her face as it's just the frustration of the futility of war. And of course impressed by the feats of strength. The combat itself, it's kind of a high art form to her. But seeing what they're fighting for, seeing what they've done to the land is frustrating, and how they've carved it out for their own selfish needs.
And now you find yourself kind of hovering over that old castle, or what the ruins of it would look like. The wrong person has won that battle. Now the hordes of the enemy have taken the lake, and there are but few survivors of the ruins of this empire, the last bastion of upstanding people, and you are completely and totally surrounded as you start to see the scenes through the eyes of the survivors. The hordes of orcs and other monsters and evil humans are pressing in on you as you kind of make barricades, try to evacuate the women and children across the lake somehow.
Jax'S. Oh, go ahead.
Nope, go ahead. Just give your perspective, as you're almost taking the identity of these people.
Yeah, Jax'S watches through the eyes of the almost kind of both sides, if that's suitable. Kind of seeing the slaughter as orcs and goblins and others raise and pillage, and then gazing through the eyes of humans as they are slaughtered, and a twinge of disappointment comes across his face as he speaks out. Such an empire. Such... I hate to say it, but such magnificent construction brought to ruin out of foolishness and greed.
That I agree with you, Jax'S. This is fighting for purpose. Of course, being strong is important. Strength should lead, but it's also disappointment in the fact that this side won. This
I suppose
chaos. Yeah.
it was inevitable. What did they expect? Charging in, claiming the world itself as theirs. I can blame neither. They were destined to destroy each other, I suppose. Fools.
Arden is not speaking. If you look across to him, he seems to be getting a little lost in this experience. Jax'S will probably know by now that Arden's village was destroyed in a way not dissimilar to this, though on a much smaller scale. And he seems to be kind of reliving it through the eyes of these people. He seems to be trying to sort of refight that battle, trying to change history, even though he knows he's really just an observer. And desperately trying to fight these creatures and getting sucked in and absorbed in what's happening.
And as that happens, Arden, you and Jax'S and Mecco find yourself on the ground. There's smoke overhead, there are explosions as trebuchets just slam into the embattlements overhead. You're surrounded by the last remaining knights of this place. These knights are smeared with blood, grime is on their faces, and you stand behind the last few makeshift barricades as these heathens start to storm into the city, and you hear some of the knights say, "Holy, I may die here today, but my blood may curse this land. Forward!" And one of the knights gives you guys, for 1 minute, you get a d4.
Nice.
And roll for initiative.
Mhm. Is this us still seemingly manifesting within individuals, or
You're there. It's you.
Yeah. yeah, it
Oof.
feels like we are there?
What-
Oh. At this point, Jax'S looks
Elwyn.
almost... Elwyn anime.
Hey,
my.
let me reset it, guys, here, just to redo it.
It's so fucking funny.
I didn't clear it, did I?
So
All right,
good.
now roll.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's worse.
Are we changing them back to what they were?
You can if you want.
I don't want.
I think I'll take the 11.
Yeah, I'll take the
I
17.
don't care. I don't care.
And I'm each going to assign you guys each a knight. They act when you act.
Sure.
Yes,
Okay.
men
Okay.
on day men.
Yeah, Jax'S looks confused now as he feels this much more proper, direct physical sensation. As
Yeah, it's
he-
definitely disturbing.
Yeah.
And part of you has to wonder what's going to happen.
Bo, could you just resort? Because I rolled late, but I got a 20.
Ah, of course you did.
Yeah, sorry.
There we go.
Shame.
So Mecco, you get the knight that I'm going to make red. Jax'S, you get the knight that I'm going to make black, since you're,
That
That's
Black
fitting.
Knight.
and Arden, you're going to get the
It looks way cooler than yours.
you'll get the white knight. All right, and tell me how
It's
you
like my computer settings.
tell me how you respond, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so for Arden, this isn't that surprising. He already felt like he was there. So he's so caught up in the moment that this almost seems natural. He's not questioning it. He's completely sucked into this experience and desperately wants the chance to change this. So he's just kind of reacting to the circumstance and not questioning it. Okay, shall we go into actions? Okay, so he's going to fall back over here, and he'll say to Jax'S, "What's the plan?" As he turns towards this tribal warrior, and he'll cast a firebolt.
Uh, 11 hits.
Okay, so I think I get more damage now on 5th level.
Nice.
I think I do. Yes.
Yeah, I think
So-
at level 5.
Yeah, so that was that 2d10 it rolled, or? Oh, it was 2d10. Yeah, so it is 7 damage.
Nice.
Yeah, see, a lot on fire as this tribal warrior just slams up against the barricade.
Am I allowed to speak out of turn? Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Jax'S kind of assesses the situation. Still, there's this look of just irritation almost, but also that confusion is kind of overwhelming it at this point, though, given the physicality of their situation. Well, as far as I see, fools bring the end one way or another. It seems we have no choice but to partake. Destroy them. As you see his wand within his left hand as he begins to channel his magic.
Let's try.
This knight will just move across to here for now. Hang back.
All right, this tribal warrior will move towards Mecco, but once they pass the barricade, they have to attack at disadvantage at least one round, as they kind of like strike at you across the barricade, Mecco. So she attacks with her spear.
Ow.
And 19,
Hits.
9.
9. Yeah. That's all, out.
You're up again. Oh, you're up for the first time.
Yeah, Mecco being stabbed by this tribal warrior and being thrown into this fight. She hates being thrown into fights that she doesn't want to be in. She's had that way too much. And she just goes into an absolute fury, a rage, if you will, and will start striking at this tribal warrior. I'll do a reckless attack for the first one. With wielding the battle axe with 2 hands.
Mecco smash.
With a
Christ.
21. So this is going to do an additional 2 damage because I'm raging. So 15 for the first attack.
Dead.
Dead? Oh.
Dead.
Perfect. So the first attack just cleaves this tribal warrior in 2. And I'm going to just run out, just charging out, and with my extra attack, you have to take disadvantage on this one?
I don't think so.
Okay, good.
I'm gonna give you guys every chance you can because it'll be tough.
Perfect. So she's going to smash into this Berserker as well. This will not have advantage though.
It beats 11. Hits.
Perfect. So that'll be 14 damage.
So he's running recklessly into you. He doesn't have a heed for anything either. And he just
what about my knight?
barrels into you. Yeah, it's your turn. Still.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
And you guys get extra D4 for a minute, by the way.
Oh yeah, to our rolls, yeah.
So I guess the knight will charge up, actually. Where was he? He's like here-ish. I just want to
Oh
see.
yeah, you can make it.
No, I want him to go over here instead. He's not going against that other tribal warrior. And he's going to take a stab at the Berserker.
See his macros. Tell me if you can't.
Oh, I can. Haha.
Perfect.
A greatsword then.
Up to you. What's your dude? What's he wielding?
Greatsword. 11.
That hits.
Can you add the plus? Oh, okay. Perfect. How do I roll for damage on
Click
this?
on great. Just click on
I
great sword.
did. Oh, the actual. Got it.
Nope.
Hey, 2
I mean-
14s, but I got the 9.
2 out of 3, so 14.
You
Yeah.
got the 9.
Yeah, the 9.
Lame.
It's pretty good.
He has multi attack.
So you can attack again. Okay.
What's his name, by the way?
His name is Oberon.
Sir Ron. There you go.
Functionally, Sir Oberon. He swings his greatsword again after clanging into the Berserker.
That was a miss.
Yeah, he just meets the Berserker's axe, having it deflected.
Berserker actually swings at Oberon with his great axe. He's going to do Reckless.
Ooh, no, Oberon!
17.
Oberon!
Hang on a second here. That hits.
Oh, he's not dead.
And he does not have multi-attack, I do not believe. Nope. And so it's the other Berserker's turn down here. He is a Berserker, and he will charge towards Arden's knight. What's his name, by the way?
Sir Henrik.
PK or C or K?
C. Let's do a C.
Sir Henrik. Clashes towards Sir Henrik and says, "Behind me! Behind me!" And he takes the blow. And he will be reckless as well. 16 hits for 11 slashing damage to Sir Henrik.
Alas, poor Henrik.
Tribal warrior has to skirt the. Yes, actually skirt the scaffold. He attacks Jax'S knight. What's his name?
I'll put it in the chat. There you go. That's his name.
Oh God.
Do you think I'd ever give anything a name that isn't far too opulent?
I'm just going to do Sir Maldavir,
Opulence.
All right.
so it doesn't take up too much space.
That's fair.
So he does attack. It's with disadvantage. 11, which I think it misses.
I hope so.
So, right in saying these guys only
18.
had 10 hit points.
Yep.
Mhm.
They're
Presume.
weak.
They're weak.
Weak.
And this next one's up, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and this one's going towards Mecco.
Oh, please do. Except it has advantage on me. It's 14, it hits.
9.
So I have resistance to all damage except for psychic. So it'd be either 4 or 5 if it's rounding up or not rounding up.
I think that's 5.
5?
Pulls out his psychic blade and
Jax, your turn.
Well, let me see here. Seeing as they're not seeming to go directly for him, he's gonna go a blast in. He'll toss out an Eldritch Blast at this fool, and then at the other fool, presuming 14 hits.
Yeah, 14 hits.
Oh, that still needs to be updated for the macro. It's actually 16. And 7 force.
7 kills him.
Alrighty, and then the second one towards this guy, which definitely hits for 9 force.
Or is this Berserker here?
Yep.
Got it.
Nice.
That it?
Yep, he reaches out as the wand sends forth 2 crackling bolts to either of them before kind of stepping back a bit, and Meldavir will act as well. I don't have control over him, but he will. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense for him to head up here and go for this Berserker now.
Make it so.
I don't have control.
You don't have to control Meldavir?
I do.
Everybody should. All players.
You're not a player.
I don't have control of any of them.
Odd.
Yeah, I can't click them.
Alright. You want to attack with the Great Sword?
Yeah. Go for that Berserky boy.
18's a hit.
Meldavir.
That's
Meldavir
13. And
Destroyer.
they have multi-attack.
Very nice.
So he swings again.
Oh, yes.
18 hits for 10. As he starts to get pretty bloody. The round is over, and as the battle wears on, there's just more and more just streaming through the gates.
Uh-oh.
You see more heavily armored troops just bust in as they start to charge the barricades. What's more, trebuchets are now throwing flammable missiles into the town, and you just hear you hear explosions. And I would like everybody to roll me a d12.
Ooh.
And nobody rolled a 1.
Ooh.
Which is good. So now, in separate areas, like behind you, but basically, just there are these explosions, and there's an explosion near the fountain, and it just sprays water everywhere as these flammable missiles are just hurtled into town. You feel this heat behind you. Arden, you're back up. And actually,
Okay.
I'm gonna have these guys enter the fray. All right.
okay.
Yeah, and Arden, you would Jax'us is kind of assessing, kind of readying another bolt as he mentions to you, into your mind again as his voice kind of echoes throughout it. Stick close to me just in case. Trust me.
Arden nods. He takes a slight step forward and reaches down to the fallen knight. Is he dead yet, or is he dying?
He's not dead.
Okay.
I don't know how that red thing got on there.
Sorry?
I don't know how that red marker got on there.
Oh, I put it there to show he was down. Because he had 10 hit points and he took 11 damage.
Oh no, they don't. No, the tribes people had 10. Is what I thought you meant.
Oh, right. Sorry.
That was their AC. Their AC is supposed to be 18. It's their AC is 18. The reds are at hit points.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yeah, I
fine.
can only see the green. Okay, that makes more
You
sense.
can only see the green. That's weird.
Yeah, the bar I've got is that I can see all three when I
Yeah,
look.
I can only see green.
Weird.
Yeah, the red bubbles hit points.
Okay, did you deduct for him or should I?
I did not deduct. What
Okay,
did he get hit for? Do you remember?
11.
11. It's alright, I've done it now. Yeah, sorry,
Alright.
I took it off the wrong thing.
Got it.
My bad. Okay, in that case, Arden won't step forward. He'll stay here, and he is going to cast Magic Missile at the Berserker. No, actually, the veterans are better armored, aren't they? So they were
True.
heavy armored. So he's going to go for this guy because magic missiles are good for people who are heavily armored. So he is going to cast a 3rd level magic missile.
Good idea.
So that's just 1, and he'll get. What does he get at higher levels with magic missile? 1 more, so he'll get another 3, 4, 5. Another 4, sorry. 2, 3.
Damn.
Fucking hell.
Okay. So 5, 7,
12.
9.
There's a lot of fucking
14.
ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
17, right? 6 plus.
No, the
14?
first one was 3rd level, so it was 3, 5.
Oh, I'm
7,
adding the 3. Sorry.
yeah,
The 14.
9, 14.
So yeah, so they. He just gets. And just smoking chest, but he just continues onwards. And you can roleplay your knight, Sir Henrik.
So Sir Henrik, standing shoulder to shoulder with Sir Meldevere, attacks.
You can move and flank him.
Yeah, good idea. Let's move around to there, and he will attack.
Get him in the back.
With advantage, it hits.
Nice. And then he gets another attack, right? As well. So he'll. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. And then what's the damage? What's
Click on the
on
great-
crits?
It doesn't let you click on the damage, huh?
Where's the?
If you click on the great sword,
Yeah, if you
In
look
the
on
chat.
the word greatsword.
Oh, I see.
there you go.
Okay.
So 8,
And then
11, 19.
cool.
These guys are tough.
Nice.
So he's hanging like on the barricade, like a lot of his clothes are caught on it, but he's just slashing away with his axe. And it's this veteran's turn. And he's going to close the gap. 30. He's going to use his extra movement to get past the barricade. Mecco, you're up.
Mecco is gonna go for the tribal warrior in front of her just to take it out with her axe, magical battle axe in 2 hands. Actually, I don't think I've been adding. Oh, I haven't been adding. Oh, it's +1.
1.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Cool. So she will strike down. Actually, because it's 2 hands +1, so it should be actually. No, I have it right. Never mind.
Okay.
Time to stab. Or slash, I guess.
Stab it with the pointy end of the
Ooh,
axe.
25.
That's it.
So that'll be 11 with rage.
Nice.
Warrior.
Yep.
She must have rolled really good on her hit points. That does not kill her.
Ooh. Well, it's a good thing that I have an extra attack. Because I will go for her again. Oh, shoot. 17. With a 17 damage.
That's enough. Now that's enough.
So she just cuts the thing, cuts the woman in two. And she'll step into more of a flanking situation. So Sir Oberon can also flank it. And he will attack with his greatsword. 17 to hit, I'm assuming hits.
That hits. 14.
Yeah.
All right.
And second attack. 19. Sorry, 11 slashing.
Ooh, just like
This fucker. So,
yes, narratively, like there's this big battle going around you, but you're surrounding this guy. Tell me what that looks like.
so Mecco just shoulders in, just knocking the deceased tribal woman just onto the ground, shoulder checking the Berserker to distract him while Sir Oberon moves into position, cutting him once across the leg and once across the arm deeply, and even though he's bleeding profusely, he still stands between the two.
Nice. That's all the NPC's turns. Veteran's going to charge. He's going to get right there. The Berserker near Mecco. Good Swords of Night. Sir Oberon.
Oh no, not Oberon.
Reckless.
Oh.
And
Ooh.
it's a miss. It's a miss.
Quiff.
The other Berserker.
Goes for Henrik, of course.
Poor Henrik.
Meldavir
Nope,
is too
nope,
intimidating.
It does. It goes toward Emmerich. And uses Reckless.
Ooh.
15 still does not. And this veteran will close. On you. And Jax'S, it's your turn.
Yeah. Well, seeing one of them actually, Jax'S raises up his wand, drawing something akin to a ward as he'll cast Armor of Agathis over himself. Ooh, do I want to do that actually? Yeah, he does. It's worth it. Because he gets 15 HP, so.
Love that
As
sound
this,
effect.
it's
Thought I was
great.
clapping.
Yeah, as this almost black blue ice begins to build up over his scales, and he seems unfazed by this, unlike that on the mountain. As he seems to ready himself, the claws of his right hand, very intimidating. Pretty much ready to strike as the wand is held back a bit in a fighting stance. As in the meanwhile, Sir Meldavir will go in Berserker.
Love
I can
that.
control him, so.
What the problem is with that? What is wrong with you?
I don't know, everything's breaking.
It's specifically
Let me
Aki.
refresh, maybe.
What do you want to do? Just hit attack twice?
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
hit the Berserker. Smush.
Slap him.
Slap that boy.
That hits.
Nice.
And that
Woo.
hits.
Smush, smush.
7, 8,
15.
9.
15.
Yeah. Making Jax'us use a spell for defense.
And round in.
Damn it.
Use.
Indeed, round in.
I can't see. Oh, wait, where am I?
By the
Oh,
fountain.
there I am.
Yeah, so again, like these things fly into the courtyard from above, and everybody roll a d12.
Ooh.
Don't roll a 1.
Oh, Arden's gonna roll.
Hey!
No, not this time.
Jax'us
More
won't
rounds to go.
though.
I'm sure it will.
There you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. These explosions just start to just pile up places where you guys aren't, fortunately. And there's just like pebbles and grime start to fly everywhere. And then you also notice that every now and again an arrow strikes the ground behind you as you hear an orc captain go, "Archers to the front!" And you start to see archers appear.
Ooh.
And you know about these guys.
No.
And they're going to enter the initiative.
Oof.
And the first archer's up. And it's going to sidestep and take a short shot towards either Mecco or the knight. Ooh, Mecco. I will say disadvantage since you're like engaged with 2 people, right?
Yes. It's a pretty good chance of hitting though. Oh, but he doesn't.
Multi-attack.
At least the first. Yeah. And no.
Oh! So-
Whiffs by.
He didn't roll a 1, so they missed. These veteran like front of you. What are you doing? It's already bad enough they're shelling their own people from far away, right? This army just doesn't give a fuck. They're bent on destruction. Arden, you're up.
Okay. Okay, Arden is going to do a 2nd level guiding bolt at the Berserker. So he looks across at the Berserker, just focuses, mutters a prayer, and extends his hand. As a radiant bolt shoots out.
Ooh.
The music for our roll 20 just does not want to work,
Mine
even when
is-
I'm only on one tab.
No. His rage has thrown him off, and he misses.
Yeah, it misses, unfortunately.
So let's see if Sir Henrik can do any better. He's going to attack the guy.
Yeah, it hits.
Hey.
I guess
13.
Berserker's AC is shit. That Berserker only had 9 left.
Oh,
So
excellent.
what does it look like
Nice.
as your knight finishes him?
Yeah, so the 2 knights, they can't really match him for strength, but what they're doing is they're more experienced in tactics and skills, so they were working together and getting round him, and some Meldavir makes an opening for Sir Henrik, who just steps in and just slices the Berserker diagonally from one shoulder down to the opposite side of his waist, and just opens up his back all the way down. And it's this spout of blood, and he pitches forward on his face. So he's got another attack, I believe, so he's going to go over to here, to the veteran. Actually, yeah, over there, I think, to the veteran. And attack again. So, this great sword. Yeah, that would do it.
That's it.
15 slashing. Sir Henrik's a big goddamn hero.
Mm-hmm.
So this is probably like hundreds of years ago, but you gotta remember these people. And that's it.
That's it.
All right, veteran. He's on Jax'S.
Yeah, bring it.
He's probably gonna get hit, won't he, with your armor back? Cause he closes on you.
It's got 15. It's not too good.
And yeah, he swings first. It's a hit.
Nice.
Does he take damage though?
He takes 15 damage.
So 13 on you. He takes 15.
Mm-hmm.
As he does so, like the cold starts to just spread up his sword. Oh, what is this new devilry?
Yeah, Jax just grins as the frost chips away at him, but his actual scales are left untouched as it just knocks away at the ice.
Second one hits too.
Ooh.
12.
That one does dig through, but he takes another 15.
Mecco, you're up.
All right. Mecco is going to hit again at the Berserker in front of her. Just trying to finish the thing off. Oh, wait. There it is. Ooh.
That's a hit. Obviously.
12.
And this is the one towards in the top of you.
Yep, the Berserker, not the veteran.
Tell me what it looks like as he goes down.
So Mecco, after her and Sir Oberon were chipping away at him, slashing, finally she just brings the axe down into kind of that right shoulder and digging in deeply. And as the blood sprays, she rips out the battle axe and immediately spins around and tries to cleave at the veteran. With a 12, which probably does not hit. But I can roll the 1d4.
Oh, I forgot about the D4.
12.
yeah.
The veteran.
13. Probably not.
Hang on a second. Let's see here.
See a big chonk or...
Its AC is 17.
Jesus.
Oh.
Ow.
So it does not hit. Even with the D4, it wouldn't hit.
That's okay. Because Sir Oberon, he can move into position.
You guys work as such a team.
We are. We're the best team. Sir Oberon and I are now best friends.
Watch him just whiff.
Uh,
because you said that.
16 still does not hit, but that's okay because he's another attack. With a 20!
That does.
Aw, there you go.
9. Is he... It just, the weapons just keep bouncing off of the armor until finally he finds that chink and he's able to slash in with the greatsword, taking some of the flesh off.
He's pretty good, but he's no Sir Henrik.
He is no... hey! Just Sir Oberon.
All the bad guys.
Ellen.
Yep, this veteran is going to attack Sir Henrik. Oh, Sir Henrik's pretty hurt.
Uh-oh.
24.
Ooh.
That hits. Oh, bad damage roll.
Oh.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I hit one-handed accidentally, but I'll give it to you. 9 misses.
Ah, cool.
Move with the other archer, however.
Mm. Henrik's looking mighty vulnerable.
Oh, Henrik.
He is.
He's got some fight in him yet.
Let's see here. Can he get an eyeball on him?
It would be such a tragic death.
He does. That's
Nice.
Archer's eye.
Oh.
He stares down at Sir Henrik and lets it go. 21 hits.
Oh, fuck.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh.
Ooh.
18 damage. And fires again.
Oh, shit.
Oh, 6 hit points left.
18.
Ooh.
Yep.
18 hits exactly. And I think you're probably going to go down with this one.
No.
Rolls 1.
11.
Yeah, yeah, he's gone down.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh. The
Is
veteran.
he dead, or can I heal him if I get to him next
Oh,
round?
you can heal him. Still heal him. It's like a PC, basically.
Great.
Let's see. This veteran here is either going to attack Mecco or the Knight. That's the Knight! Oh, no, Mecco's at the top, isn't she?
She is this time, yes.
There we go. Reckless. Oh, nope, he can't do that.
Haha, but he's still gonna hit probably. Yep,
14.
he hits. So that's 4 damage.
And here we go again.
That
So
hits. I'm going to use... where is it? Give me one moment. Stone's Endurance.
Hey.
Just don't roll a 1.
So that's 10. So
Hey.
basically nothing.
Man, stud.
Yeah, so the first
Shrug it off.
attack, just kind of cleaves off a couple pebbles that are embedded into her skin. And the second one, she kind of grabs at the longsword with her hands, and they're calloused enough so it doesn't really do anything, maybe a few scratches. She just tosses it back.
And Jax'S.
All right, yeah, Jax'S. The cut on him is managed to get through the armor of ice finally, and even through his scales. As his face takes a sour look, and he turns to Meldavir. Kill him! And he points over to this one. Oh, and I can control Meldavir now as he charges forth. And he's gonna swing twice at this guy. Multi-attack! Oh, that's just a button. Great sword! 14 hit.
+4. Use your roll.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, you can still use that.
1 defer.
Yeah!
Because of the leadership.
Smack.
Yeah, Sir Henrik grabs the veteran's leg and doesn't let him move and just says, "Finish him, Multicolored."
Ooh.
Both
So
the second one.
Roll
roll-
for
roll-
that.
roll-
Do you
your
get the
D4
D4
again.
for that as well, or is it 1 per round?
No, I think any.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes!
Nice.
Yes.
Smush him.
So 13. Oh, barely killed him.
Ah, nice.
Exactly. Tell me what that looks like.
Yeah, Meldavir brings the blade up as the guy kind of yanks back from Henrik, opening him up just enough for Meldavir to bring the blade up under his arm, kind of nearly severing it as it hangs from a bit of stringy flesh. And on the downswing, he brings it back down to the guy's neck, sinking down even into the armor as he kind of puts a foot up onto the guy's chest, pushes off to get the sword free. And then Jax'S grins, very good, as he reaches his open right hand to Arden. Take my hand now. I'd rather not use this here and how, but we have little choice.
Okay. So I guess Arden needs to wait for his turn before he takes it, doesn't he?
I mean, he's doing a thing. It matters.
Oh,
if
okay,
we're
yeah,
willing
then,
or-
yeah. So Arden will
yeah.
have his
As
hands in as well. Yeah, take his hand.
Jax'S casts Thunderstep, which there is this literally thunderous sound, like colossally loud, as it echoes out through the entire city, and me 3d10. Low roll. Ew, gross. But yeah, so luckily Meldevere's just out of range, but this guy has to make a con save. Or take 12. Otherwise half damage. As Jax'S is going to teleport us over onto the roof. Up here.
Oh.
Way over there.
Wait. And around.
The one guy's
yep.
got to make a con save first. The veteran.
The veteran. Okay.
Yeah, con or 12.
Con save. Here we go.
Yeah, so 6.
Take 6. And he just looked. What? Huh? Where'd they go? Round end. This will be the 4th round. And everybody roll D12.
Let's hope it doesn't hit either of us, seeing as we're on a roof.
Oh no. Yeah, that would be bad.
We got lucky.
So yeah, it's,
I thought that when I did it, but I was like, it's fine. It won't happen.
yeah, these explosions just kind of fly in, but they're all long this time. And you can see it's actually like the castle behind you now is just getting lit up. And like the battlements are just crumbling. It's like one of those scenes from Lord of the Rings. The trebuchet hits the battlement, just starts to come down. And whatever link you had to the city, you can hear the screams of the dying within the towers. And you hear a captain, "Bring up the enemy troop and the Mutters." And more appear. But you are doing amazingly well at fending these off. Mecco, you're in the front. I'm gonna let you give a little role play about what it looks like as just you're just starting to get overwhelmed in this battle. While I bring out some more troops.
And so Mecco and Sir Oberon are fighting away and attempting to just fend off whatever troops are incoming. And just seeing just these hordes that are pouring in, these people that are getting overwhelmed, everyone that's dying as they fight. She would be kind of taken aback by this, but she's just in an absolute fury, and all she can do is just press on at the moment and just keep going.
Yeah, it's like bodies are starting to pile up around you guys, but we're back to the top. Archer. Archer shoots at either the knight or Mecco. Let's see.
Uh-oh.
Ha! Not Mecco.
Oberon.
Oh, Oberon.
Archer's eye.
Ah, he's fine.
Ah, fuck. He is fine.
8.
See?
Ah!
Ah! You remember these guys in the other session? They were just always
they're
hit.
so bad.
I know. They were
They
fucking
suck.
nightmares. I mean, we saw what happened to Henrik. Shame he won't get healing now.
R.I.P. Henrik.
Oh no, he's getting healing.
Oh.
You have that stat,
Compromise
right?
my roof now.
Well, I'm going to use a 3rd level healing word on him.
Ooh, nice.
So it takes
Oh, you guys all have inspiration too. Remember that.
yeah.
Nice.
So
Would you say we have cover given the angle we've got on this archer here?
Yeah, I would say that it has to do with disadvantage.
Nice.
Mage might not have to.
Yeah, that's fair. Nice.
I'm just trying to think. Does he?
Sir Henrik lives. I think
should
he should be
actually-
within, because this was... Jax just
should-
went 90 feet exactly. Oh, well.
Yeah, he should get more than that actually. I think
It
get
should
stuff
go up
from
to
my divine
higher
domain.
level, I think.
Hold on. Let
You
me
could always
just-
meta magic if need be.
Yeah.
65. I'm getting 65 feet.
Yeah, you could take
Oh,
a couple of steps
I could
closer.
take a, yeah, I
Yeah,
could take
you take a
step
free
from-
step. 5 step.
Sorry. Yeah, I'll do that. That's here. To there.
You slip off the roof and die.
It's
And
where
you
he,
fi-
he wanted to go.
You file workers' compensation claim.
You survive the fall, but it's the massive shingles that fall on your face that kill you.
You get, you get shingles.
It's like a triple whammy.
Yeah, so I'm just going to check what the bonus would have been on that, but I can do that out of turn. And I guess Sir Henrik, I'll add
gets-
some.
He
I'll
gets
give him
10.
the 10. He'll get some more as well because I'm life domain, but I'll sort that out in a second. And he's going to get up, and then can't really close too far, but he's going to. I guess he can move 45 if he dashes, so he's going to.
Well, there's this veteran back here still too. Don't forget.
Oh yeah, that's true. He's
He
kind of
might be
got
able to get
through
there
the
with a
lines.
charge.
Can he charge? I think he just has to. Yeah, he has to dash to get there, so I don't think he can do it.
Ah, shame.
Yep.
Yeah, because
that'll be
I
him.
think it's what, half of your movement to stand.
Yes. Yeah. So that's 15, and he needs 25 to get there. So he'll
Ah, shame.
at least rush up, and as the veteran's trying to get further into the city, he'll yell, "Turn and face me!" That's me done.
Okie doke.
Nice.
Gladiator. He's just going to have to run. Yeah, so, Mecco, you see coming down the street, like, these are just like the rabble troops. These are guys that you've seen the likes of these gladiators, and they are not to be messed with. And they start running into the city. Yep, and this veteran is going to attack Sir Henrik.
Poor Henrik.
Probably come down.
Face him.
Yeah,
Oh,
He has
man.
15, not 10. Okay, so.
that's 13.
Oh,
Oh.
just needs to not get hit by this one.
Hello, darkness,
Yeah.
my friend.
Oh.
Oh,
Waste.
well, he
down
certainly
again.
turned to face you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And took your face off.
I mean, he did his job.
And he's
Yeah.
down. Mecco, you're up.
Mecco is going to swing at the veteran. I'm not going to use reckless attack because I know I'll get hit.
Oh,
I
you won't
have
get hit.
I already have
Use
advantage, so
reckless.
it's fine.
That's true.
Roll a d4.
17. Roll d4. Yes.
Oh, sweet.
Exactly.
So 13.
nice.
Second attack, I'm guessing. 21. For another 18 damage.
That should suffer.
Is he still...
Archer,
Oh, wait.
he's still up.
Wait. Is there
He has 10. He has 10 left. He has 10 left. Oh, it's
Oberon. He can do it with a 19. It's 9.
He has 1 left.
Yeah!
Oh,
Oh,
finish him.
He cleaves his head off, his helmet just rolling on the ground. And Mecco just lets out this victorious roar as he does so. And Sir Oberon, he just kind of holds his great sword and shakes it over his head. A little bit of victory there.
Okay, maybe I take it back about Zero.
Told you. Sir Oberon's a badass!
that was a little bitch.
So good, Henrik, you're dead, motherfucker.
Yeah, I think Arden, as he has gone to the eaves, this archer spins and aims his arrow towards you. He uses his archer's eye. And this is going to be with disadvantage.
Punk move.
11
A 1.
for 7. That's
Oh,
miss,
it
yeah.
can add that to its attack or damage.
But it rolled a 1, technically, so.
Yeah, because it's disadvantage.
Oh, true.
That's a hit.
Oh yeah, yeah, that will be.
Ooh.
Oh no, Arden.
Arden, my boy.
Oh!
Oh!
You get slammed by an arrow.
Oh,
Here's the scary part, though. I mean, that was nothing.
yeah.
This is the bad shit. Come on, Aslan.
This mage, you're going to drop some fireballs.
No!
Oh.
Fuck!
Bad things are happening.
We're gonna die, guys.
Oh.
Who
Ew.
are you firing
We
at?
need some healing.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Alright, let's see if Cerebron can dodge this.
That's definitely a fireball.
Let me see what let's see here.
No, Cerebron.
What's the radius of those? I always forget. It's 20?
20 and 5th. Yeah, it was used to be 30 in earlier edition.
What is the what do we have
I mean,
to
that's
hit?
radius. I mean, it's... Yeah.
Okay, let me just,
20
let's do
radius, so
this.
it's 40
Yeah.
across.
So the easiest thing to do is just do 20 feet aura. Boom. Yeah, it hits both of you guys.
Fuck. Yeah, we both
Damn.
don't dodge, so 28.
28.
So 28 for Cerebron,
no.
but only 14 for Mecco.
Ooh.
I'm
Yeah,
still at
this-
7.
They bring the mages up behind the gladiators, right? So there's like mages, there's not many of them, but a couple. But there's lines of gladiators narratively. And you just see them just start lobbing fireballs into the battlefield. They don't care if they hit some of their own guys. Everybody's just on fire. Ah. Is Oberon down?
I don't know. You took 28.
Oh.
How much? He's 30,
Nine.
right?
Have you not been tracking it?
No,
No, I haven't.
Oh.
No,
I don't
he hasn't
think he's
been
taken.
hit.
Yeah, he hasn't been
He hasn't-
hit.
Oh.
It's 11.
He has 11 left. He has 11
Okay.
left.
Fuck, I know. Tanky boy.
The other one. I know where this one's going.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's Meldavir right over here. He's the scariest motherfucker in the world. He's so intimidating. How could you not fireball him?
I mean, I was tempted myself.
I know, right?
Oh,
Oh, baby!
Oh.
Can you see the aura or no?
Roll
can't
your
see the other
damage, Bo.
I mean, it definitely hits both of us, though. I don't think we need to.
yeah. Might take the archer too, though.
Oh no!
Oh.
Oh god!
Dex save 14.
Thank goodness.
Oh.
I already rolled mine. I got 24.
Oh!
Don't fall. Oh, no.
You take
Roll your
half.
inspiration. Roll your inspiration.
Oh yeah. Good point.
D6.
Oh, yeah, you do have inspiration. Oh, well, it's
You have
14. It
inspiration.
wouldn't.
It won't
And you
quite
have a
make it.
plus 1d4.
Oh, wait, inspiration gives you advantage.
Here goes advantage. Yeah. I'm
No,
trying
it
to roll
doesn't.
again.
It does. That's what
Oh,
inspiration.
oh, that's specific inspiration.
And it
That's
doesn't
bad.
help.
Oh,
That's
no.
bad.
Very bad.
Oh no.
So I'm definitely down.
No.
I don't know how many death saves have I failed.
None.
None. None yet.
Oh, I thought you
You're a fresh
say.
baby.
Oh, it's if you take more once you're down, you start failing them, don't you? Yeah. Okay.
God, that hurt. That fucking hurt.
But what does it look like? Is this like roof just explodes?
Oh, man. I mean, yeah, Jax'S is knocked back a bit as the flames scorch and char at his scales and his clothes. But he manages to duck down well enough beneath this side of the roof and the shingles just in time. Enough that he didn't, by no means did he get out unscathed. But, yeah, he's hurting.
I think Arden would have been actually thrown off the roof basically because it was such a big explosion. The roof probably buckled quite a lot. So he's actually thrown to the ground and just lies there unmoving in a bloody heap.
Oh shit!
Clothes smouldering. Yeah, that would have taken him down from full health, and he was on half health.
Yeah, Jax'S is hurting. He doesn't know where Arden's gone. Arden's been hit by the blast, and as he kind of gets up from the really tore up roof, the shingles, the shrapnel got him as much as the flames did, as he very painfully kind of wanders over to the side behind the edge of this roof, so he's got heavy cover behind it, as he'll launch out a couple of blasts towards this mage. Do that real quick. 11 force. Another one. 15 hit? Yeah?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Mike was funny. 9, so 20 total.
Yeah, she just gets hit. She's used to fighting mages, though. It ain't no thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jax'S is hurting.
And
Oh boy.
the horde is coming in closer and closer. Roll D12.
This is it. This is where Mecco gets hit.
Fuck you!
Oh. Shit, I knew it too. I could feel it coming.
Suck Nick.
Oh.
It's basically just this again.
Yeah, Jax'S gets those 2 blasts off, and as he dips under cover, let's see if he can make this save. Oh no, I mean, if he makes the save, oh no, yeah, I think it'll. I mean, he makes the save, but it's
11?
still.
Yeah, he's still down.
11. He's just down as it hits kind of up here, and he gets out of the way of it pretty well. But then the roof buckles and caves, and as the flames and the tile and the building begin to collapse, he does too, falling down into the alley under a pile of rubble.
Gladiators want to charge in. It's not looking good, guys.
No, it's not.
At least we died in a lost cause.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Ah, goodbye. Goodbye.
They
Archer.
didn't die for nothing. Oh wait, yeah they did.
We totally died for nothing.
Oh,
Oh, Mecco.
Meldavir does go in for this motherfucker, though,
Oh, yeah.
to avenge Sir Henrik. I'm gonna just do that real quick, okay?
Yeah, those
Fucking
guys were squires
smash.
together. Yeah.
Smash, smash.
You only hit once.
I know, it's okay.
So
I just
14.
wanted to know.
14 and 8.
Just 14.
That fucker, yeah.
14, that might be enough. Yes, it is.
Yeah, he cries out, Henrik, no! As he charges in and brings the blade up into the guy's gullet.
And the hordes start to roll in as the mages come up and the gladiators come in, and this archer shoots.
Oh, it hits
Shoots
me.
Arden.
Oh, for 3.
Like to finish him off.
At least Jax'S is in cover, like hidden in the alley when he makes his death rolls.
Well, you're still burning.
That's true.
Oh, it hits again. I'm going down. Going
Oh,
down,
shit.
y'all. Yep.
I swear.
It's because I used my fucking defensive spell too early.
Yep. So Mecco.
If I had cast darkness, they wouldn't have been able to fuck with me.
So Mecco's about to run out of this kind of fireball, and as she's about to just start sprinting, she just gets thunk hitting either side of the chest, and she just falls and topples over herself, spilling onto the ground.
Back to the top.
Yep, death save for Arden. Oh, do we do the D12 first?
We already did.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Oh no, we've done it. We've just done it. Yeah,
We've
just
done it. We're down. We're down, guys.
Hey! Guess who's back up? Get around this motherfucking corner, baby.
What's it
Yeah.
like as you rise?
Arden opens his eyes and everything is pain. His entire body is, burnt and cut from where he's been sort of peppered with broken shingles from the house, and the impact has probably broken several bones, and he's somehow he regains consciousness to all this pain, and seeing the others close, he what do you do? Thing is,
Fall back.
that's the sensible thing to do, but he's
True.
he's.
I mean, this is all within like 10 seconds of each other, so I mean, you might hear
Yeah.
the collapsing of the building back here, and the
I think
groans of
you've got
pain.
no idea that Jax'S is back there.
It's true. It's true.
and you
He
can
would have no
see-
idea.
You can see Mecco's lying, as far as you can tell, dead over the other side. So I think he thinks it's all lost. So he is going to step out here, and he is going to cast Scorching Ray at the. I think he gets 3 rays, and he's going to chuck them all at the archer.
Ray that bay. Do it.
This is
yeah.
the 6th round. It's significant. This is significant.
Okay, and he'll he gets what? So he gets that 3 times, I think. Yep. 2, 3. All at the archer. So I don't know how many of those. Probably 2 of them hit. 11 damage.
Yeah, two of them hit.
So it'll be 11 damage on the archer. And then he'll move back this way.
A shame I went for the maze.
Excuse me.
Probably would have been enough.
Yeah, so
Oh,
the archer
you
just
see a
gets hit
dying
by-
Jax'S in the alley.
Oh yeah, he'll.
Is your knight down?
Who's?
Arden's
Oh,
knight.
Henrik is, I believe.
Yeah, Heinrich is
Yes,
down. He's dead.
Henrik is down. Yep. Oops.
Yeah,
I
Melfier's
accidentally
love is
dragged him without
dead.
them to do that.
Now he must rage forth and destroy these invaders.
This gladiator. Yeah, I don't think he can reach anybody, but he's going to charge. Yeah, he's going to charge here.
No, Sir
Mecco.
Oberon. Death save.
Don't die. Roll a 20. Oh no.
Oh no. Oh, Mecco. Sir Oberon is going to fight at the gladiator with
He
his
has
great
one
sword.
hand.
If only. Does a 16 hit?
It does. Wait, gladiator?
Yeah.
Yes.
9 slashing from Sir Oberon.
Yeah, much armor. Yeah, but this guy is just a beast of a man.
Oh god.
Powering.
Another 15
Hits.
for 11 damage.
Got it.
Sir Oberon's just trying to fight him back, seeing Mecco now fallen on the ground. Sir Oberon is very much
Sir Oberon's still up.
He is still up.
Hmm.
He's a brave man.
Not about to be.
Yeah. He's used. This is the 3rd one he's using.
No!
Oh damn it!
No!
I'm gonna use it on the attack,
Okay.
Oh.
So that will make a hit.
Yeah, that will
18.
Oh.
just hit.
Barely.
Oh, he's down.
Yeesh.
Like he's right
Oh.
at 0. Sir Oberon stumbles and kind of falls to his knee.
Olivier stands alone.
He'll not be
The
forgotten.
cheese
The greatest.
stands alone.
The most powerful.
I don't know about that.
Meldavir the Undying. Oh, well, he might be about to be dying.
So
Meldavir the Singed is what he's about to be called.
So narratively, here's what happens: is you see the gladiators come in, and you see these mages teleport, just misty step into here, and they just start laying waste to everything.
Oh shit! Well, Meldavir isn't going to stand for that.
And this is the end of the 6th round, right?
Jax'S still has to go.
Oh, yeah, your turn.
Roy does save motherfucker.
Meldavir, seeing the mages charge in. Oh wait, no, not this one. Not this one. This motherfucker down here. This motherfucker is about to die.
That's the one that's already hurt. Yes.
Yeah.
You probably got her. That's can't hit her actually.
13 hit? Because the D4?
13, yes, her AC is 12.
Nice. Smush.
Still
That's
up.
1. Shit. Gimme. No ones. Shit.
Misses.
Oh,
I want to use my inspiration on Meldavir.
No.
Yeah, you can.
Come on.
Yeah. This is all story. This is a story session.
Sweet. Is it dead?
Tell me what looks like as heroically the Knight of Sophia's Rest strikes down this mage.
Yeah, Meldavir is the last remaining knight. As he charges forward, the mage, 2 massive singed spots over the mage's torso leave the armor kind of torn away and open as he strikes for the opening. As the mage begins incinerating the barricades and the things around them, they turn at the last second to see Meldavir as he brings the blade up at an angle, cleaving the torso in 2 at a perfect strike.
And suddenly, overhead, you hear this, and then overhead, you're buffeted by wings as 2 giant beasts overhead just flash. And as your vision starts to fade as the battle goes down, you see a giant, bigger than Arlex even, a giant golden dragon and a green dragon just doing battle overhead. And your vision fades to black.
Bum, bum, bum. Sorry, what? Sorry, Mike's cutting out.
yeah.
As you kind of blink into consciousness, not knowing the end result of that battle, you are at the exit of the cave, and all in front of you is glittering gold. And kind of perched on a stone in the middle of that stream that you saw before is a giant dragon. Kind of at his feet are 2 smaller ones as they lie sleeping upon piles of gold. It just looks at the 3 of you. Look at
Jax'S.
yourselves.
Okay.
Look at yourselves in your polished shields, and your polished swords and armor. And if you bring your hand to your face, there's blood there. There's grime. This is not. it wasn't all just a dream, but something was up with this.
Yeah. Jax'S is kind of taken aback as he kind of looks to the others and looks up to Orlox. What exactly was that? What? Sorry?
We're having trouble hearing you, though.
Yeah, you're like underwater almost, like very far away.
Repeated question. Dragonborn.
You're still cutting it
The
a
word
bit there, bro.
Dragonborn.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
I just barely got the last end of it.
That's a complicated question, Dragonborn.
Oh.
Ah.
Yep.
Well. Yeah, Jax'S kind of catches himself as he relaxes after the kind of death-like experience he had there for just a moment.
You see that Arden's fallen onto both knees and he's just buried his face in his hands. And he's breathing deeply in. He's breathing sort of fast and raggedly.
Mecco, she actually moves over to Arden, taking a knee beside him and putting a comforting arm over him, and patting him gently and looking up to the Arlox. And that was, if that was you who did the whole transporting us to another place with a bit without, wasn't cool, man.
Well, I suppose it served a purpose.
What purpose? Besides physically learning things and seeing things and suffering physically instead of being
Well,
told.
we have seen that history seems to be repeating itself. Isn't it? He looks up to Orlox.
In a manner of speaking, would say that is true. Although it was not my magics responsible for what happened in that cave. Oh, I am ancient indeed. But there are things outside of space and outside of time that are even more ancient than I.
This I know well, of course.
So, enlighten me. What marred you so? What caused these wounds? Visitors to this eyrie have been few and far between, lo, these many years.
Well, we watched as, well, we fought as the Empire fell, in a sense. This, what was it? Sophia's Rest or some such. The castle fell, hordes charged through, slaughtering.
Silent serpent! Kind of snaps at you. If it wasn't for your use to that hamlet down below, it would be a pile of ashes. I am interested in this one. And he outstretches a great claw towards Arden.
And Arden doesn't notice for a minute. Probably Jax'S or Mecco would need to kind of like shake him slightly. And eventually he sort of like pulls his hands away from his face and he just looks white. And there's blood all down his face. And, you know, he's presumably still badly wounded. And he draws a sort of ragged, pained breath, you know, through broken ribs. And sort of looks up at the gold dragon and says, "So is this all there is? Over and over again, pain and destruction and death. Is that all?
Such is the way of things in this world. All parties of men, all parties of Dragonborn, they contain within them a taint. So yes, until someone breaks the cycle, it will be the same over and over again. But tell me, Arden Riverwood, what did you see at the end of that battle?
2 great dragons. Huge. Immense beyond my imaginings. Greater even than you in size. A gold and a green serpent fighting in the skies. What were they? Who were they?
And he looks down at both Jax'S and Arden. Unfortunately, he's not paying much attention to Mecco at this point, as the magic emanating from Jax'S and Arden seems some way tied to this ancient battle that's been going on for years and years. He says, "They are my kin of old. And it seems to me what you witnessed was their undoing. But it was also the undoing of their eternal enemy." You may ask, and he kind of flies into the air and goes up above the water, kind of perches up here. And he says, "You may ask why some being as powerful as us doesn't simply come down off of our heights to make things right. It is beyond our power. The deep magic does not allow it. But such is the same with our enemies. Understand now, of River."
So he cracked up a bit at the end.
He basically said that in that battle, both him and his internal enemy was kind of by this deep magic of this
Oh,
of
yeah.
this, of this continent.
I caught the bit where you said they can't
Yes.
intervene.
Yes,
Yeah.
that both of them are wounded to the point that they can't intervene. They have to rely on intermediaries. So basically, that he's understanding if you understand what he is saying.
Right. Arden nods, and he looks like he's kind of on the edge of despair, though, with what he's seen. And he said, "Is there any hope?"
Jax'S actually kind of scoffs at that. You give up far too easily, Arden.
Even if we triumph tomorrow, is this waiting for us next week or next year or in 5 years?
Doesn't really matter, Arden, does it? Doesn't matter if it's around the corner, next week, or maybe never. If we're going to think with fatalistic terms and such, it's going to come no matter what. You know?
Yes. I'll fight for as many eons as this long-lived body will give me. Eventually, this foolishness will come to an end, one way or another.
Arden looks down and nods. Says, "Yes. Those knights, they knew they were doomed. They knew that there was no hope for their city. They fought on because it was the right thing to do. They fought on to give time, to give other people a chance to escape. What we do does have meaning. There is hope."
Yes. But keep in mind, it is not the fact that they kept fighting that should be admirable. None of them should have been fighting in the first place. The fucking... Jax'us bites his tongue and looks up to Orlox. You said that unless something stops this chain, it'll continue. What then is the key to unlock it?
Only you answer that question. That seed of corruption, it lies in all of you. The desire to hoard gold above all else, to prize power above love, above righteousness, above justice.
I do not care for your gold, or the gold of the mortals. I care for justice, though, but I do not care for it to be blind. And righteousness, well, I suppose that will come with age, won't it?
Maybe. Or maybe only a swift death.
That is foolish. I speak not ill of you, great kin, but death will bring only more death. At some point, we must stop the warring and the death and the destruction and talk like the civilized beings we should be.
Arden
Go ahead.
Arden looks up at Arlux, a little worried that there might be an argument brewing between Arlux and Jax'S. He stands up and painfully sort of gets to his feet and gasps slightly as the pain of those broken ribs hits him. And says to Arlux, "We have come far, and we have gained some hard-won knowledge and perhaps some perspective. But can you offer us anything more? You cannot act yourself, but can you offer us advice? Can you suggest where we might find allies? Our enemies are many."
He says to you, let's see here. As the help I can offer you is twofold. First of all, I admonish you not to be too quick in your judgments. You did not see the end of that battle. There may be allies yet in the north. Find Sophia's rest, and more of this mystery will be revealed to you. The other thing I can offer you is a way home. And suddenly, kind of appearing in front of the dragon, is a portal not unlike you found under the mountain a couple months ago. That's a bad graphic, but you get the idea.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a door that looks pretty much the same as the door that's in the hamlet, and it's behind you. And Arlux flies into the sky, and you just hear a great roar.
Mecco looks
Jackson.
back. Oh, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, Jax'S looks almost disappointed as he turns with a scoff. Seems the endless warring will never stop. Even the great ones follow with it.
You know, Jax'S, as long as there's people with different opinions similar to you and Tyrek out in the world, right? There's always going to be some sort of warring, some sort of fighting. And as much as I appreciate talking to, I think it's naive to think that we can finally settle down and talk it out. You know?
Well, eventually there must be compromise, or all there will be is destruction.
It's not, like I said, as long as there's different opinions, unless everyone decides to worship the same gods and live in the same areas and experience the same things, there's always going to be disagreements and always going to be wars, fighting, no matter what, because no one's experience is going to be the same. There's always going to be clashing and differences of opinions and how things should be ruled, and no matter what, there's going to be fighting. And it's
Jax is oh, go ahead.
No. She stops and kind of looks to you as she helps kind of Arden stand. Stay standing.
He thanks her. And Arden looks across to Jax'S and says, "You know, I came up here thinking that the highest aim I could have in mind was to follow my goddess and to seek peace for our hamlet, to seek victory. But it seems to me a higher goal is to try to find a way to end this cycle of war once and for all. Yes, there will always be fighting, but to end this cycle of destruction that lays waste to whole civilizations, that is a goal worth dying for. That is a goal worth living for."
Jax'S turns to him, stopping before the portal. Now you see. Now you see what my lady wishes for, what our lady is after. In the end, dragons will rule. In the end, there will be peace. There will be utopia. Perhaps not now, perhaps not by the time I am destroyed, but in the end it will come. And if they won't change their minds, he looks to Mecco, and then you hear this echoing sound as his voice reverberates within your mind itself, then perhaps we will have to change for them. And he turns and steps through the portal.
As he kind of turns, she, with her free arm, grabs Jax's's arm, pulling him close, and still with a smile on her face.
Don't whisper in my mind. Don't try your funny little wizard games on me, Dragonborn. Got it? Good.
Oh, Mecco. If I did, you wouldn't know it. And he brushes your hand off his shoulder. Don't take it as offense. I quite enjoy your company.
Well, we'll see if I enjoy yours so far. Yeah.
Well, let us go. There's nothing but old ways here. Seems we'll have to search elsewhere.
Arden turns towards if he can still see the dragon in the sky, he will bow his head in respect, and will do the same to the two young ones if he thinks they even might be awake enough to see it. He says to Mecco, "That was a bitter gift, but I think wisdom is sometimes. Come, follow us to the village.
Well, you know, even if you didn't really get everything that you wanted out of it, you got me. And I didn't really see anything better.
A new friend is a gift indeed. Very true, Mecco. And he said, if you'll help me through the portal,
Yes.
I'd be obliged.
Yeah, of course. And even though she's injured, she still fully just gives full support to Arden, helping him through.
Yeah. Once they're through the portal, he'll stop to heal wounds as best he can, and he'll use the staff first of all, and then heal people further after that, until they can all sort of walk again. They'll all be injured, but not so grievously.
And as you come out on the other end, there's a light summer rain down in the hamlets, and you come out near the stream just outside of town, looking pretty beat up, but having many stories to tell.
Mm-hmm.
That's the end.
Yay.
Yay!